Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod throwback. The Nexus has been a little bit dry this week, so I figured we would double down and check out some older mods that are on the Nexus that I haven't yet covered on the channel. And today, we've got a special little mod that helps to enhance the Institute, which is something that is very much needed for Fallout 4, and that is the Institute Courser Crusher mod by TrainWiz and Niero. Now, this mod's going to do a couple of things. First of all, it's going to completely overhaul the Courser enemy type and make them much more difficult to deal with. Some true Institute assassins, and I have to tell you, they completely kicked my butt when I tried to test this mod out. They really do ramp up the difficulty when it comes to fighting the Institute, and I think that's a good thing, because honestly, the vanilla synths just kind of flop over, and this adds a true sort of mini-boss to the game that's very, very hard to deal with. On top of that, it's also going to add a new weapon to the Institute arsenal, known as the V3n Rifle, which is going to be based on some concept art from the original Fallout 4 concept art book. And this is actually going to fire different types of syringes that will have different effects on the player, and of course enemies once you pick one of these up for yourself. This thing's super customizable over at the weapons workbench. It looks really, really cool and lore friendly, and helps to add to that craziness of the newly buffed coursers. Now, I really do want to do a full breakdown of the weapon in this video, but first, let's go over what is changed with the coursers in this mod. First of all, they're going to have a whole suite of new abilities that make them very annoying to deal with on the battlefield. For one, they will go invisible as they used to, but they will also now teleport towards you at different points in combat to help spice things up and change up their positioning very, very often. Additionally, they will now be equipped with synth grenades, so they'll be able to spawn synths whenever they need them for backup. Coursers may also now enter a sort of overcharged mode where they will become electrified and they will do more damage and have more damage resistance, making them a pest to deal with. So be sure to try to kill these guys quick, or else they will enter this state and become even more of a pain. Now, this overcharged state does apply a debuff to their speed, so it makes them slower and easier to hit, but if you get their health low enough while they're in this state, they may go into red alert mode, which will remove the debuff and just make them really, really strong. But honestly, all of these new abilities aside, this is pretty manageable. What really makes them strong is the newly added V3n Rifle. Now, this thing, for some reason, just absolutely destroys my health as a player. Whenever I run into a courser equipped with one of these, they absolutely shred me. And I think it has to do with the fact that each of these syringes has a stacking effect. The more that you apply to a target, the more that it will deal damage. And these guys throw them at you with rapid fire. So that makes this very, very powerful. Let's go ahead and talk about that V3n Rifle, as I think that is definitely the star of the show when it comes to this mod, and it has a lot of really neat features. Here we have a look at the basic V3n Courser Rifle, and as you can see, this thing looks super, super cool. Again, this is based off of some old Fallout 4 concept art, and I really, really like it. It looks perfect for the Institute. As you can see, it fires some syringes out the front there, and we have a very strange magazine that will be interchangeable at the weapons workbench for some different ammo types. This thing does use the vanilla Fallout 4 assault rifle animation, so if you do use the new assault rifle animation replacer, it will actually affect this thing, and it looks pretty good. It is a bit weird when you equip it, as it does try to use a carry handle that this weapon does not have, but aside from that, it looks pretty alright. Now then, when it comes to stats, this thing has a base damage of 33 and a poison damage of 5. Now this is going to change a lot depending on what attachments you throw on this thing, additionally with what ammo type you choose. As you can see, the ammo currently just says green, and it's because there's a bunch of new ammo types with this mod that again are all changeable at the weapons workbench, and you can craft them all over at the chemistry station. This thing has a fire rate of 90, a range of 119, an accuracy of 77, a weight of 7.8 pounds, and a value of 162 caps. So a nice little thing to sell if you pick up too many of these, though my guess is you won't find a ton because you do have to kill a courser to get one, and coursers are a lot tougher now. Now, over at the weapons workbench is where we can really see this weapon shine. As you can see, we have some pre-made variants over here, and they all look very different from each other because there's a lot we can do with this weapon. Go ahead and take the standard one in and check out the receivers first, where we have the standard specimen receiver, the resampled protoplasm, the prime anatomy, the basic restructure, and the apex specimen, which is going to give you the most ballistic damage with 57 compared to the standard 33. When it comes to barrels, we have the standard short barrel and then the long barrel, which is just going to give you some better range and accuracy. Pretty standard there. For grips, we have a similar story with the rifle grip, pistol grip, and lightweight rifle grip. Something that's interesting though is that it will actually change the perks that you use when you switch to the pistol grip. So as you can see, I do have some pistol perks on, so it gives me more damage there. Yet, it's still going to use rifle animation. So that's pretty neat. If you are a pistol build, you can switch out to a pistol grip. Same goes for rifles depending on your preference. So I do like that for customization's sake. Then we have the ammo types, and this is where things get really interesting. By default, this thing has caustic venom, which is going to be some basic poison that will stack as you fire more at a target. But we do have some other options like bioelectric synthesis, which is going to deal some electrical damage, which is pretty neat. We have corrosive acid, which is just going to greatly increase your ballistic damage. We have the icing agent, which will freeze enemies like cryo damage in the vanilla game. We have Metagel, which can be used to heal allies, so that's pretty cool if you want to switch to this thing to fire it at your companion. It's pretty neat. We have Sticky Napalm, which is going to coat the enemies in a new substance that's going to deal damage over time and also slow their movement a whole lot. I was firing this thing at a Deathclaw earlier, and it just slowed it down to an absolute crawl, so that's pretty cool. And then we have Synthetic Lubricant, which is going to make the target slip and fall. As you fire this thing, the targets will actually fall, which is pretty funny. Though, if you throw this at a mechanical target like a robot, it's actually going to buff them and make them move faster. So that's a pretty interesting trade-off. So if you're not paying attention and you fire this at the wrong enemy, it will actually hinder you rather than help you. I like that a lot. Then we have a bunch of sight options like the basic iron sights, the closed iron sights, the long scope with a target HUD, the reflex sight with a target HUD, the short scope, and then again the short scope with a targeting HUD. So pretty cool. You get some different highlighting options for each of the sights in this mod. Then we do have some skin options. Of course, there is the standard Institute skin, but we have a bunch of other ones as well. We'll actually start at the bottom here with Unpainted, which will just strip off the paint and give us the nice shiny metal underneath in case you don't want to rep the Institute. We then have Tiger Eye, which will give us a cool tiger paint job. Rad Scorpion will make this thing look like it's made out of Rad Scorpion skin, which is pretty nasty. We have Green, which is just going to paint this thing green, but it has a really cool pearlescent to it. We have Camouflage, which will just give this a nice camo pattern. And then we have Blood Bug Bruiser, which will actually make this thing look a bit like an exoskeleton of sorts, which is pretty cool. And this one actually requires the Chemist perk, interestingly enough, just for the skin. And then finally, we do have some auxiliary tanks, which is essentially your magazine. We have the option for none. We have the intelligent pheromones, which will add an option to switch to seeking flechettes that will actually track the target. We have the pressure subsidiary tank, which will fire 3 flechettes at once, but uses additional ammo. You have the reserve soylent ox tank, which will just give you an extended mag. And then you have the venomous catalyst ox tank, which will deal an instant poison damage to any non-mechanical targets. So pretty cool to add some different variety without just changing the magazine size straight up. So yeah guys, that is the V3n Rifle as part of the Courser Crusher mod. Equip this thing to a Courser and they're absolutely gonna shred you. So if you have this mod installed, I'd highly recommend making it your goal to befriend the Institute as quick as possible so that they don't end up attacking you with these things. Pretty cool stuff and some awesome work by TrainWiz and Niero as always. So, if you want to try this mod out for yourself, it will be linked down in the description below as always, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video and a look at some of these older mods. If you have a recommendation for any older mods you'd like to see on the channel, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. With that, again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating. Consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this. Big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video, and a special thank you to Youth RC, Jackie Noid, Helljumper 2077, Indecisive Wolf, Captain Chaos, and Feed for signing up for that Tier 3 membership. You guys are awesome. If you want to check out Patreon, it'll be linked down below, though it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace!